everyone, my name is Passek, the FlyFish Fanatic. Welcome to my tying bench. Today, simple staple pattern of bloodworm. It's going to be a really simple pattern for those that are just starting out. This is going to be very simple for those that know how to tie flies. But like I said, this one is definitely geared towards the beginner. But even though it's a beginner tying pattern, it is a phenomenal fishing pattern. So here we go. I'll start off. We've got in the vise, we've got a Hens BL564 in a size 12. It's a 1X strong there, as you can see, so it's a little bit heavier. Okay. Now it's not going to have any additional weight on it. So for the thread, I'm going to be using red Semperfli Nanosilk. For the body, I'll be using red Holo Tinsel. And then for the rib, I'm going to be using some red liquid lace. This is the micro. I don't know if to be honest, I don't even know if liquid lace is available anymore, but any of these body tube style from Hens, Semperfli, any of them, they will do for this. As long as it's in the micro, you want it really small here. Okay, so I will take a little bit of wax and just get my thread waxed a bit just so it sticks to the hook nicely. So when you're starting this, you always want to start it up here at the front. Okay, and then you're gonna wrap it, and you're gonna lay, see the tag end here? You're gonna lay the tag end back, and you want to wrap over top of that. Okay. So like I said, this is a fairly simple fly to tie. For beginners, it's a good one to learn on, just for a little bit of thread control and how to tie things in, how to keep things slim. But for anybody that's a little bit more advanced, this is quite simple. So I've gone all the way back, tied in my tag, come all the way back to the front. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my red Holo flash, if I can find the beginning of it in my, there it is. That little piece that I had out that I showed you guys is too short, so there's my Holo flash. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my liquid lace or any other kind of body glass or whatever, okay? And the first thing I'm going to do, let's see if I can do this on camera, is I'm going to just give it a bit of a quick little melt and pull it out. Not quite enough. Okay, and you see how it's got that little weird little tie in there, like a little spot? Okay, so that is now a lot thinner, okay? So I'm going to catch that in right there loosely. Just make sure I'm going to come back just a bit so I don't get it in my eye there. This can be a little bit of a pain because of that little twist that happens there, but you want to catch that in by the tip of that little twist. See if I can straighten that out. The reason is because now what I've done is I've actually thinned out this liquid lace, so now it's going to be a much thinner, tie-in point. This keeps jumping off on me. Trying to do it and show you guys. So now that I've got it tied in, I'm going to give it a real good stretch, and then lay it back all the way back to where I want to go. And then I'm going to come back forward. It can be open wraps. It's not a big deal. I want to make sure that front is tied in. Okay. So now I'm going to give my thread a bit of a counterclockwise spin to flatten it out. Because when you turn it clockwise, like what for me, well, I just got that caught in the eye of the hook there and it ripped it. So I'm just gonna put that back on. Stuff like that happens. So especially for you beginner tiers out there, don't get frustrated when stuff like that happens. It happens. It happens to every one of us. It happens to guys that are professionals. So now I'm going to tie in my Holo Tinsel again on my side here. Just going to catch it in. I don't want to make sure it's not in my eye at all, which it's not. So, and now I'm just going to keep it nice and tight and on kind of my side, the top. If it slides up onto the top, that's fine. I just don't want it to go all the way over. So, again, I'm going to flatten out my thread by spinning it. Not getting my liquid lace in there. Still in there by one. Not paying attention today. Alrighty, so I've flattened my thread a bit. Now I'm going to come all the way back forward again. And I'm going to stop about 1 millimeter or so from the eye. I'm going to take my Holo tinsel, get that liquid lace out of my way, put it in my little material holder here on the vise. There we go, so that's out of the way. Take my Holo tinsel. Make sure I come back and wrap right at the back where that liquid lace is tied in. Now I'm just going to make sure that each wrap overlaps the one before it just ever so slightly. Right? I don't want it to overlap too much because I don't want to build up any bulk, but I don't want to see anything shining through as well. So come right to there, then I'm going to go in behind it and lock it in, and lock it in. And then I'll do the same 3 in front. Give that a turn so I can get to my tinsel and cut it off. Now I'll take my liquid lace and I'm going to give it a fairly good stretch right at the beginning. I want one good full wrap at the back, and then I'm going to let go a little bit. I want that to thicken up a bit. See how I've let it go a little bit and it's thickened? It's going to be a little bit hard to see because it's red on red, but it does show that segmentation through, right? So once I get to the front here, again, once, twice, 3 times behind, 3 to 4 times in front. Give this a really good stretch, nip it off. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a black felt pen, Sharpie, whatever, and I'm just going to make this, I'm going to paint my thread nice and black just for a couple of inches. Then I'm going to take my whip finishing tool and I'm going to just do a nice little whip finish black head. I want this little bit of a black head there. Not huge, you just want a little black head. So that is the finished fly. Now I'm going to coat it. So I'm going to take some, in this case, some Thin Mint from Gulf. You can use any UV resin that's out there. I know Loon's got a good one. Semperfli's got one. I mean, there's a bunch of different brands out there. You just have to find the one that you like and that works well for you and that's available in your area. You might not be able to get Gulf in your area, so look for something else, right? So, so I'm doing a really thin coat on this. I don't want a thick coat, especially not the first coat. So just a really thin coat. Okay, and I'm going to zap it with my UV light. Sorry for my hand there. So you just got to give it, 10-15 seconds with the UV light. Then I would let it dry for probably half an hour or so, and then I'd put a second coat on, let it dry for half an hour or so, put a third coat on, and that's it. I like putting a last final coat of Sally Hansen's on. It just helps. Because some of these UV resins can, it's not that they're soft, but they can be a little on the softer side even once they're dried. So I always like putting a top coat on it. So I take this Sally Hansen's Hard as Nails, just get it dry off this brush really nicely, and I just give it a bit of a coat. So normally I wouldn't do this right away. I would have let it dry, but just for video sake, so you guys can see. So like I said, this is more very basic tying, but it's an effective fly, very effective fly. So like I said, I wanted to do this one more so the beginners can see how simple it can be to tie a fly. But I also wanted to share this with all you out there that are watching, that are advanced tyers, that sometimes simple like this is the most effective. And I tell you, this fly is very good when the bloodworms are coming off. So, you know, when they're moving. So, alrighty. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, give her a thumbs up. If you've subscribed, thank you very much. If you haven't, please do consider doing so. I'm trying to put content up as much as I can. Let me know in the comments what you want to see, what kind of patterns you want to see, reviews, that kind of stuff. Alrighty? Tight lines, everyone.